The thing I really didn't expect was friendships that would be made with people who I've never physically met, but some of them consider like my best friends now.
What is up, Merce Nation? Javier Mercedes here for another video about VidSummit. Just posted my Passion and Progress episode today. We're about to go. He's shaving. With Anthony, head over to VidSummit. Today's the actual days of lectures. Hopefully I can interview some people, what they're passionate about. We'll see what happens. Alright, transition. Oh, you should probably check out this Passion and Progress with Linda Weiss. It's hot fire. If it was lit and you want to be inspired by people that help kids out, you would want to watch this podcast. Okay, back to transition. Not really. We're back to here. Okay, now transition. Hi.
I'm Joshua Hubbard.
I'm Felix Schlater.
When did you start YouTube?
I started three and a half months ago.
Trying to think. I had like random videos here and there. I think it was August of this year when I really started.
August?
Yeah.
You mean?
That was when I really started like actually making content to actually publish it and push it live.
Next question, why did you guys start?
So for me, it all came out of this idea that I loved photography and filmmaking. Like I would make videos on my iPhone and do it in iMovie, and I always found that I enjoyed it, but I only did it when I would go on family vacations or drive across the country, something crazy. And then I realized I want to do this more, so I bought a cheap camera and just started filming daily.
What about you?
Nice. I have a lot of bent up creative energy. And so
do you have another job doing stuff? Or?
I was a graphic designer for a while. I managed a team as a creative director. I did web design, I did photography, and video's been the most recent thing that I've kind of landed on. Mm-hmm. I was telling these guys last night, I went into it kicking and screaming because when you start in an industry and you really inundate yourself with it, you can't help but not see the peek behind the curtain. So it's hard for you just to enjoy something as a consumer without nitpicking it and wondering how it was done. And so I love movies and film and cinema, and I didn't want that illusion to be broken for me. I wanted to be able to go to a movie and experience it and just not pick it apart. But when the cameras got cheaper and the entry level was lower, it was a no-brainer to jump into it. And now I can't go to a movie without picking it apart and wondering how it's done or thinking this is how they did it. And I don't know. I love it, but it took me a while to get there.
And that's mainly because a lot of your content has this sweet graphics and whatnot to it. Yeah. My personal background, I got a degree in audio engineering, and then I was doing stuff for live bands and setting up stages and things like that. And going to a concert experience was much like that. Where now, whenever I go to a concert, I'm not necessarily they're putting on a good show, but oh man, let me look at that Source 4 par. Let me look at all this concert
and
stuff.
You can't just turn that part of your brain off, because if it's bad, you're going to be nitpicking it. If it's good, you can't help but notice how good it is. It's just
I will say if I do attend a concert and I find myself not thinking about it, it's they're doing a really good job. I'm just I'm amazed about some experience that I'm having.
Right.
But what has been your experience so far now that you're both? It sounds like both of you are kind of around the same time.
Yeah, it was pretty much we started very similar times. He's obviously been doing it a lot longer than I have, video in general, because I knew nothing. I literally had my camera on auto on everything.
Sometimes that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, and I realized how bad that was. But my biggest takeaway.
You're not supposed to do that?
I'm doing it right now. No, my biggest takeaway, when it came to YouTube, or the thing that I think surprised me the most, was I thought YouTube would be this thing where I kind of just flew solo and grew on my own, and then
It's so true.
Then eventually I would just get big, and then people would want to collab with me. That's what I thought it was. You just fly solo until you make it, and then all of a sudden everyone wants to hang out with you. What I didn't realize is I'd meet people like you and Felix along the way, who some of them have become really good friends of mine, and that's the one thing I didn't expect. Everything else is kind of you get comments, likes, dislikes, all of that stuff. But the thing I really didn't expect was friendships that would be made with people who I've never physically met, but some of them consider my best friends now. That would be my biggest surprise or takeaway from starting YouTube.
Yeah, the only thing I would say on that is that MythBox had a video, and in there they had a little snippet of a question, and I think I asked them this during their podcast. I said, do you consider YouTube a social media platform, like where you interact like with your audience, like a Facebook or Instagram? And I think after finding like the No Small Creator community, it's very much so, like just like interacting with people as opposed to an entity on a 16:9 screen.
There is one thing I will note to that though, like kind of a caveat, is that even though I feel like I know people, so like usually those people that I would consider good friends, I'm sub to them, they're sub to me. So like we watch each other, and even my subscribers like watch me. And the weird thing is like you'll get people who comment, and like you are like in a vlog style, you're very vulnerable. But like people know you, but they don't fully know you, like as like how we're talking face to face right now and stuff like that.
Digital,
like there's
real.
Yeah, but there's a weird aspect where I think like, man, there's a lot of people who like really know me, and if they were to meet me, they would feel like I'm their best friend. We don't really know each other, so there is that strange aspect to it. Like one of the people I'm actually meeting tonight for the first time, and him and I like talk all the time. We have a podcast together now. But it's still strange because like I only Bert Cullinane.
Yeah.
But like the thing is I only know who I've seen him through like his channel, so like whatever he's kind of presented to me. I mean, we've talked more, so I know him more. But it's just that strange, like Felix, I only really knew through our digital interactions. So there is that weird part that makes me think like I really see Felix as a friend, but like we've never physically met, and I could meet and realize that like I only saw like one aspect, or even with him, like with me, he could realize that like he only knew really one aspect of me. Yeah. Because it's the aspect I chose to show through whichever medium I'm in. Yeah. So that's my caveat.
What about you, Felix?
I now see Josh as someone's just through the lens of hatred, just like sheer hatred. And I never knew that one could hate an individual as much as... What if I just kept that facade up for years? And it's just Josh Hubbard. I just turned him like a super villain, like Nemesis.
Dude, it's hard when you meet someone whose kung fu is just better than yours.
It's just, it becomes a yin and yang thing. Like, oh no, Josh is here, Felix isn't gonna be here.
No, not happening. That's why I wasn't at the Gary Vee lunch. Not because it was crazy expensive. I heard Felix was there, and I was like, no, can't do it.
Can't break more tables. I come from a big art community that was started when it had 40 subscribers. This community has now grown on Reddit to like 400,000 subscribers to the community. And I met a lot of the artists who were a part of that community. And as a direct result of interacting with those people every day in a chat room, in text messages, I became a better artist. And so I realized very early on that community was super important for that level of growth, the level of motivation. And because sometimes like when you're doing it on your own, you kind of like, oh, yeah. And there's no drive, there's no competition, there's no learning from other people. And so when I got into video, I was doing it, but kind of haphazardly. I wasn't really focused on it. When I found the No Small Creator group, when I found the group that I'd started, like you immediately have a community of people who are trying to make each other better, like legitimately trying to make each other better. Yeah. And to me, that was the biggest driving factor. And as soon as I found that, I found a group that wasn't just a link drop group. Because I was scouring, I was trying to find it, and everywhere I found is like, this is a community, and then it's just a wall of links. I'm like, this isn't a community, this is a flea market.
Yeah, holding yourself accountable, like, or finding people to hold yourself accountable, but in a creative, like, not energetic way, but to further you in your creative endeavors. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
no, it's awesome.
Get away from me.
Let's go.